it's Penny Black and Jill Foster here with another PB&J card class, and today I'll be making a winter thank you card, great to have on hand during and after the holiday season, and I'm doing this with creative dyes and acrylic paints. And this card uses our creative die Serenity by Penny Black and is very much inspired by Bridget Edblom, and I'll have a link to her card in the description box below. You'll definitely want to check out her beautiful work. I'm working on Canson 140-pound watercolor paper, and I'm going to use Master's Touch acrylic paints. And you could also do this with lots of different mediums. I just wanted to do something that had a little bit thicker texture on the watercolor paper. And because the paints are pretty thick and pretty wet, that's why I'm working on watercolor paper, because it's sturdier. So I'm just squeezing out some colors here onto a palette pad. Don't need very much. And I'm going to apply the paints using a palette knife. And I'm doing this just because I like the look of the texture that the palette knife provides. It also takes away some of that feeling of the blank paper staring at you and going with a paintbrush and which way are your brush strokes going to go. I just got messy and jumped right in with the palette knife, knowing it's not supposed to look perfect. It's not going to be. It kind of takes some of that pressure off for me. So I'm applying the different colors, letting them mix together. I'm just working on typing paper here to protect my work surface, and that way I can just throw it away when I'm done and not have to keep cleaning it up. I also squeezed a little bit of paint directly onto the paper. I try to start with the darker blue towards the bottom and work up into the turquoise and the lighter blue, but you'll see that things just keep getting mixed up, and that's fine. I just wanted it to be textural and to have this sort of monochromatic blue and turquoise look. So when I'm putting in that lighter color, I'm pulling it down from the top, and you can see with the darker colors I sort of pulled it up from the bottom. And I'm letting that palette knife just scrape along the paper as I go. But like I said, you could do this with watercolors, you could do this with any type of paints that you like. It's fun to mix up the colors. Since this is a monochromatic card, you can really do the same card but just use different color variations. It'd be a great set to give someone a whole bunch of blank cards that they could use. I'm going in here with just a little bit of this creamy color with my finger. The paint on the bottom is still wet, so it's easy to just sort of blend that in. It gives a little more variation to the color that it's going on top of, so giving me some lights and darks of the colors that are already there. And I also think it adds to sort of the frosty winter look that I'm going for. And I'm just blending that out a little bit more. In hindsight and looking at the card, I wish I wouldn't have blended it quite as much. I think if I did this again, I wouldn't. Now here's my die cut. I cut this also from watercolor paper. I'm using the same colors of paint that I did the background with, only in order to keep this a little bit lighter, I'm applying them mixing some water in. That way when I layer this piece on top of the background, the die cut piece will be painted with the same colors but lighter version so that there's enough contrast that the die cut shows. So I'm just mixing in water with that. I also like that the water allows me to move those colors around as well. And I'm just patting the water sometimes and sometimes swiping it on with the paint, and that helps it blend into the previous color that was applied. Once that was dry and I used my heat gun to speed that process up, I'm going to add just a little bit of this white on top with my finger. Again, looking for that sort of frosty look, that wintry look on these branches and trees, that there's a hint of snow that is there, or frost. You could use a brush for this too. Sometimes I just like to go in with my finger because I feel like I have a little bit more control. And then I'll just put it onto the background to make sure it's looking how I would like it. I decided I wanted a little more of that creamy white color. And this card is really that simple. It just takes that die cut and the background layered on top of each other. I added my sentiment with just some twine and a self-adhesive pearl. And then here's another color variation using the exact same techniques to create this card. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, please give it a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe to our channel. You can also connect with Penny Black on Facebook, Pinterest, Twitter, and our website, which are all linked in the description box below. And here's a complete list of all the supplies used, including the exact colors of paint.